Welcome back to the All Out NRL Fantasy Podcast. Boys, we hit 20K on Instagram. Well done, fellas.
Woo! Chee-hoo!
Let's go. And for that celebration, we've gone with a new setup today. A black background for Benson and I, and Dor, you got some white with some stereo players.
Yes, very special.
Hopefully next week we have another setup once again. I think we're
Yes.
upgrading finally.
We have upgraded. We spoiled ourselves after hitting 20K on Instagram. Thanks to all you lot. And we, like we've said in previous podcasts, we do appreciate all the support, don't we, Dor?
Oh, we do, yeah. And that's the thing. I think we've had just a few comments just about the mic quality and whatnot. So we're definitely unleashing for
We look out for the
the
viewers.
20K. Exactly
We
right.
look out
so
for listeners.
in previous weeks, probably I'd say from next week onwards, we should have quality audio, whether you're watching or listening.
Well said, Dor. And look, unfortunately, there was no team review for round 8 last week. So we're going to do a bit of a review now, fellas. We actually had quite a good week considering everyone else got 1,000 points. 907 for us. Look, going through our team, fellas, we got a lot of sells. I'm looking at Lussick. I'm looking at who else here? Dor.
Levi.
Terrell May.
It's time for Terrell to go.
Look, we
Yeah.
posted a great meme about Terrell May during the week, and it's time to go. He's been great,
Yeah.
but it's time to go.
Yeah, I'm definitely, if I'm looking at that, our team, Strange is definitely maybe potentially one. His time could be up. Like you said, May, Lussick. Well, the good news is we might touch on that a bit later with Talagi at the end of the team list, but then Levi as well. He's got to go.
Yeah.
So we got like 4 cells, I think, there.
We did pretty good. Do you got the tipping comp there, or?
Oh, I do too, brother. Yes, I do. Let me see how we went last week. Give me 1 second. I did have the tips up. Here we go, round 8. Well, we had pretty average week, gents. Well, actually, let's say we got 5 tips right. Not
There's
two.
a few roughies though.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we started off 0 from 2 with the Wars going down the Titans and the Dragons. I went for an upset. What a horrible tip.
Wow.
That's a shocker, Dor.
And then the Finns, and then the Finns. The Finns went down as well, so that really didn't help. Fraser, 2 pairs FC is on top of the leaderboard with
Good on you,
51
Fraser.
Shout out Fraser.
51 tips. So good on you, Fraser. I don't think we really need to go into all the others. We'll just give Fraser
Yeah,
the,
good job,
Props.
Fraser.
Good
Yeah,
job,
the
mate.
props, yeah.
Congratulations.
Well
You know
done,
what? If you
Fraser.
stay first for the rest of the year, you get an all-out hat, which is displayed nicely here, and I'm sure Ben's do his.
Or on my dome.
He'll do it, or on Dor's dome. I'm sure Ben's will do his clout. Little thing at the end.
Stay tuned.
Fellas, let's move on to TLT. Now, I've been warned by several people in group chats that this TLT is quite boring. So let's just drag this podcast out even more for the viewers and make it extremely boring for them.
That's exactly what they want to hear.
I know.
Yes.
Boys, Rabbitohs, Panthers. Now, where to for these Rabbitohs? We know Jason Demetrio is on the chopping block. We posted it on the great meme. The meme's been kicking, fellas. Not going to lie.
Nothing special.
Very special.
Dor, I'm not seeing many relevant changes for fantasy here. Tane Milne's obviously suspended, but I'm not seeing much relevance for the Panthers and or Rabbitohs fantasy-wise.
I did see a bit of news from the All Out source ourselves. I'm sourcing our own channel. I saw that Latrell next week he might be rumoured to come back into centres, which is a bit of could be a positive for Jai Gray at fullback. Still only 288k.
Yeah, they were thinking about doing that this week, but they ended up not going down that path, it looks like, obviously, with Thompson coming onto the bench, onto the wing, should I say. But look, Kulumatangi again starting at prop. I do not like that. I think he's one of the premier...
That's just really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, like the premium second rower. Really good, like fantasy-wise and NRL-wise.
JD's lost it, let's be honest. He's
Yeah,
completely lost it.
This is a little secret bomb. I don't know if this is 100% confirmed, but we are recording at 4:20 local time, and
On a Tuesday.
there has been sources say at 5:01, which is under 40 minutes time, they reckon that JD will be sacked. And
Wow.
Should we do a live reaction?
David Furter could be the new head coach for the rest of the season for the Bunnies. So
Yeah, that's big news there, Dor.
they've been in meetings all day. So, yeah, I've heard that, but we'll wait and see if it comes to fruition or not. And then with the Panthers.
Non-Cleary owners, Door. They're the ones that are winning at the moment. Cleary only got 50.
50, yes.
906k he is now. I believe he went down 30k, something like that. I'm not
like
sure.
that. He didn't have his best weekend. Missed a fair few tackles in his first game back. But look, he got through unscathed. So that's the
win.
That's the main thing. Yeah, he missed 4 tackles, gave away 2 penalties, and had an error. He lost 34k last round, Cord.
Condolences for those like myself who held him this whole time while he missed an extra game, and then he comes back and just does mid. He's going to lose a bit of money, but once again, just hold him the whole year.
Yeah, 79 break even. I held him as well, Ben. So
it is Nathan Cleary at the end of the day.
It is Nathan Cleary. The only changes there with that Panther side, Cord's Taruva. Obviously, he was a late withdrawal last week. He's back in the starting side, so there's no room for Alamotti, who had a really good game last weekend. And then Sorensen. Jeez.
Pot of the week.
Scotty Sorensen.
Week.
The night before the
game. What a red dot it was.
Goes
Played really
down.
well on the bench.
So
in the crowd.
Guy stays on the bench, and Garner starts. So the rest, and Leota's obviously back as well because he was a late withdrawal as well.
Now, if you have these Manly players, look out for the judiciary tonight. Daly Cherry Evans has been named despite that little dangerous throw he was involved with Olakawatu, who's got 2 weeks. Would you be selling Olakawatu if you have him, or would you hold on to him?
I don't know. He's been really good this season. I'd probably hold.
56 average, 49 points last week with the sin binning. Look, you'd probably hold, wouldn't you?
Do you think he plays Origin?
Yeah, well, that is probably the biggest thing. If you really do think he's going to play Origin, you probably lean towards selling, because then you're going to have him out for a fair while over that Origin period. I think he's got to be in the New South Wales team the way he's playing.
Disappointing for some of the cheapies fellas. James Schiller and Chevy Stewart, as Ben said off podcast, has been dropped. Elliot Whitehead has also been returned in the second row. So stinky for the Raiders cheapies there.
Oh, sorry. The Bence's face just there when he saw Chevy Stewart was out was real pain.
That was a live reaction. I didn't even know.
I know Strange wasn't very good last week, boys, but Weeks was special.
Yeah, Weeks was good.
Wow.
Yeah,
42.
Yeah. Weeks was good.
Everyone was a bit doubtful because his New South Wales Cup performances weren't the best.
They were all right. Yeah,
or so.
But I think
he comes in and just gets 42. So props to him.
I think people were just worried. I think about maybe Strange having those getting the kick meters or whatever. So Weeks not. Getting those easy points. But it turns out that Weeks was the one with the easy points, and Strange is now in trouble.
Yeah, looks like a must-buy this week, to be honest.
Smithies is definitely a hold as well. I think he got 39 points last week. I think he's got a break even of 45. I'd just give him a couple more weeks. The Raiders have been flogged the last 2 weeks. So.
We'll be back, Big Morgan.
Yeah.
Broncos Roosters, Door. This is the big game for you as a fan. To see where the Broncos are. Mam and Cobbo back for the Bronx, and for the Roosters, Tupou's back, which means Jennings takes his spot out, and Victor Radley has been included in the reserves. So for those that have him, he's averaging 50 this year. Could be an early return for Victor.
Yes, yeah. Oh, sorry, Ben. I thought you were going to say something there. Victor Radley's been very good this year, playing big minutes. But the person that is named at the lock position this week, and actually has done a really good job when he's played bigger minutes, Connor Watson got 75 points last week.
Wow.
Playing at lock. Definitely one to look at, but I just worry about, he's gone in his last 3 weeks, played 80 minutes, 50, 45, 75. No tries in either of them. So, good numbers.
I think he's one to watch this week, yeah. Look, we touched on Terrell May a bit before, but he is just a sell, fellas. Get him out of the team.
30 minutes, then 26 minutes in the last 2 games. And he lost about 49k or so in the last round. Ooh,
break even of 70, it's time to go, blood.
It's time to go.
I just think it's due to, I think, with Waria Hargreaves is playing, Lindsay Collins, you expect to play those sort of minutes, but he seems like Robinson's really giving Waria Hargreaves, and then obviously Nafu White as well. They're both getting big minutes. So I think that's really affected Tyrrell. And he is definitely a sell. I think the only thing with just the Broncos is I think Cobbo will be one to watch. I reckon will be touch and go. with Oates at 18th man. We could see Oates come onto the wing and Arthur's back to centre if Cobbo is no good for the game. But apart from that, let's move
Not
to the
much
next
else.
game.
Doggies,
The Bronx.
Doggies, West Tigers. Now, a couple of years ago, this would be the battle of the wooden spoon, but the Doggies are now on the 8th. So shout out to all those Doggies fans that are fans of the podcast. Kurt Mann's been quite good this year, fellas, should I say, and he's been named to start at lock. Can we see some value in the Kurt of the man, or are we looking just to watch him this week?
This is taking me back to about 2 years ago
Yeah.
when everyone had him.
We were number one.
him.
We were
Yeah.
number one in fantasy.
He was
I know.
him.
He was
So
him, yeah.
We all know what he's capable of, and I'm just looking at his stats now. Played 65 minutes last game in lock, which is promising, although he didn't get the best score. But if he keeps the minutes up and starts at lock, I could definitely see him a buy down the track.
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
100%. I think Kiraz boys, we've obviously got him in our team. The Dogs are actually about to go on a serious run of games, I believe. Like in a good aspect, I should say, because they're coming up some absolute bums over the coming weeks. Or actually, bums is probably a bit harsh. Let's just say some good fixtures.
Yeah,
should
some
I
good
say?
fixtures, some good fixtures.
Like, so we've got Tigers, and then the tough one next week with the Panthers, and then they've got Raiders, Dragons, Knights, Eels. Like, that is
Yeah.
gobble, gobble,
That's
munch,
a taste.
munch.
That's a tasty little
Thank
schedule.
you, God, for my lunch. That is going to be delicious.
Would I be would I be mistaken in saying that I'd rather Karaz on the wing than in the centres?
You're not mistaken.
No,
I'm
not mistaken.
He runs the ball back so well.
Yeah.
He's a tackle buster when he's on the wing. Like, I feel like he just runs it more, gets more meters. He gets more involved. He's a better winger, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We were a bit worried, weren't we, boys, with Karaz going to the wing?
We
But
were, we were.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Cord, that he is definitely way better on the wing for fantasy coaches. Last thing, sorry, Cord, before you move to the next one,
You're right.
is Jacob Preston is lurking in the reserves.
He's lurking.
So he could be one to come back in, which would not be good for Salmon, because Salmon has gone very well playing on the edge. And then if he moves back to the mid, he probably won't get that 80-minute role and then might suffer a little bit. So that's
It's
definitely one to
making
watch.
a lot of sense,
Salmon
that
is
door.
no longer a buy, as we discovered on the stories last week. I
Yeah,
think it's time
yeah.
for him to go.
We did say the
Yeah.
$8 Tasmanian salmon was not a buy.
Yeah, I think it's up to $12
Yeah.
now,
It's
Cord.
not worth it.
It's not
It's
as
break
cheap
even
anymore.
No, it's made its money, but it's about to plummet. So.
Yes, yeah.
For
That is
the
exactly right,
Tigers,
brother.
For the Tigers, Benji Marshall's named his same 17. Look, the concern here is Appy Coruscant. Any owners that had him, I believe he went off. Door, is that right? Is that correct?
Yeah. He got absolutely smashed by Xavier Willison
Yeah,
and landed
crunched.
badly on his back. I think it was like a bad back cork. But yeah, he went off and
He should
didn't come
play.
back on. He
should
should play. He still played, like, he was doing actually a lot better than he had done the last few weeks. But then obviously the injury just stuffed it. Missed a few tackles and then obviously went off. But like you said, Cord, I think the Tigers have named basically the same 17 as last week. I guess the biggest player is probably John Bateman. We spoke about him on the Buy, Hold, Sell podcast last week, and he delivered with a big 60-point performance.
Buy.
Yeah.
2.5% buy.
I don't think there's anything else to really touch on. Galvin was good for the
Yeah.
Tigers again.
Well, for another second row door is David Fafita. Now, he's been cooking. He's been named to start again for the
Let him
Titans.
cook.
He's been named to start again, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's moved to the bench. AKP, Aaron Shop, all been dropped for Philip Sami and Harley Smith-Shields. Is David Fafita a buy yet, fellas, or are we just going to hold off on him? And I've got too many second rows at the moment, so it's just not a matter.
22K is just a little bit too expensive, even though you know what you're going to get with them. It's just like
Break even of 39, so
it's just a painful price, isn't it? Just a bit out of reach.
My biggest thing with Fafita is just it's coming up to Origin period. And you're getting he's going to be in your team for like a couple of weeks, and then he could be missing every second week or whatever. So I think it's just better, as much as it's good. I'm personally just going to wait till after Origin.
I'm with you there.
yeah, you're probably making the most sense there, Door. And for the Storm, Wishart's versatility is on full display. He is going to the wing.
He's on the wing
He's
again.
on the wing. Xavier Coates is out there. Nelson has been quite good, and he was being fantasy relevant last year, but he's just not getting the minutes
No, not the minutes.
this year, fellas. So Nothing really to note for the Storm.
What about our Joey Chan cord?
He's
What
back.
a special a special cameo.
He contributed a nice 30 for us last week.
35 points. Yeah, no, if you just look at it, he would have stayed in the middle for that whole stint until the end, but because of the scoreline, the Storm were obviously resting players, so he ended up going out to the edge there for, I think, like 10 minutes or at the end when Blore came off. So if he can stay in the middle, though, he obviously scored. But if he can stay in the middle, he should definitely continue to get those 30-odd points week to week, which is meaning that he's going to continue to make some money, which is lovely.
Beg pardon. Cows, Dolphins, and Lukey is back from the bench, which is bad news for Fine Fuiaki.
Best game last week.
I know.
Yeah, what the boost he had as well.
Yeah.
Boosted like 15 odd points.
I was watching his points, and I swear for a minute there, they just weren't going up. I was seeing him run the ball, make tackles, and the points just weren't moving.
Yeah, look, I would be holding Fine just for now.
Definitely.
I'm not
Break
sure.
even of about 11, although that's not completely accurate, but we know it will be low.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
low.
it's going to be definitely.
He's still got money to make, so
10.
10, there you go.
It was pretty close, Spence.
For the Dolphins.
No, you're right. That was pretty good, mate.
For my Finns, we were awful on the weekend. Most boring game of NRL I've ever watched in my life.
Trey
But
Fuller is him, though.
he is him.
Oh.
He played elite.
Timothy.
He's a really good player. I'd be surprised if a team isn't looking at him to pick him up.
Would you put the Hammer at the centre? I don't know, but
I'd consider it,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure Hammer's still out for 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
I think. So
Plus Origin.
yeah, plus Origin, so he could be eased over that period. Trey Fuller's definitely one to look at, I reckon. Good game again this week against the Cowboys.
yeah.
Definitely look into it for sure.
Kafusi and Lemuelu are back in the team, which means those that were getting Ewan Aiken in the DMs, I wouldn't be getting him this week because there was a lot of DMs saying, should I get Ewan Aiken? And that's basically put all that to bed.
Yeah, I just don't think he'll keep the 80 minutes. He might, but I think now with Lemuelu, they're lurking, and he apparently absolutely killed it in Q Cup on the weekend.
Yeah.
So the only other one is one from our buy hold sell last week. Big Maxi Plath.
What a gun.
What a performance. He came out and got a stunning 57 points.
Still got money to make as well.
Oh,
Only
100%.
611K. Break even
20.
20.
good.
Yep, see, look, you nailed it, Ben.
Score of 57 and also 72 before that. He is due to make some more money. He could be a little smoky this week for a buy again.
Yeah, 47 tackles last week, Ben.
There's a reason
serious
Wayne loves him.
Yeah, serious workhorse. But yeah, he's definitely a buy again this week, Ben. Yep.
Not much really to note for the Knights and Wars fellas, both unchanged except for the fact that Kurt Catewell is back in for Jacob Laban for the Wars. I picked up AFB last week in my personal team.
Special.
He was great. He had quite a low break even, and it's even lower now. It's now 41. So he's going to make a lot of cash. What to do with RTS, fellas? We obviously have him. Oh, no, we sold him last week.
We sold him last week.
Great
Cleary,
sell from
so
us. I think it was 645k, and now it's 574. So
Has he scored 40 every single week?
I'd say so.
I'm
With
pretty
a
sure
try.
it's been pretty similar to
Consistently mid.
Consistent 40s. We don't like them at all.
David Armstrong, though, called for the Knights, made a stunning debut.
Yes.
So he's definitely probably out of all both teams, he's definitely a buy.
Yeah.
I think from what I've heard out of Newcastle, if he continues to play well, he's going to keep that spot, so he won't have to worry about Fletcher Sharp or anything like that, or someone else taking his spot.
Yep.
Armstrong's definitely going to get that role until something maybe
foreseeable
happens,
future.
until he plays really bad, but hopefully that doesn't happen. So he's definitely probably cheapy the week or weeks this week. They're the top two for me.
Sharks, Dragons, boys, last game of the round. Now we have to touch on Nico's 116. It was special. He really got us out of a hole there, that's for sure.
Mixed feelings. I didn't captain him, so it's like...
Yeah.
Just think of the all-out.
Yeah,
the
think of
all-out
the all-out
love.
team.
Shout out Daniel Atkinson as well.
Yeah, shout out Ako.
Made
Yeah.
his starting debut for the Sharks, right?
Yep.
Nudgy boy. We're Nudgy boys, so congratulations to him.
Well done, Ako.
Yeah. Ako was
31
great.
points, that's all I care about, mate.
Yeah. No, he played really well and partnered Hines perfectly. And just as a someone that captained Hines last week, he was just so good. Like he just dominated everything.
Yeah.
He's such a we touched on in the preseason, how good he is without Trindle. Like, it's just so much
just
better.
hands on the ball.
Hands
every
on the
play.
ball.
We haven't
kicking.
got a word on Trindle yet, but let's hope it's a good 4 months.
And
Yeah.
Hines against the Dragons, I fear for the Red V.
I
get
do
it-
fear
just
for the
get
Red
Hines
V.
if you don't somehow have him.
The Sharks
Captain
back
them.
5 are so elite.
Yeah, they
Like,
are.
they're just
underrated.
Oh,
meat
they're
eaters.
very
They're so
special.
good.
Just so underrated.
Not
really.
much for the Drags, obviously, fantasy-wise. Zach Lomax is back into the centres if you have him, which is good news. But other than that, boys, it's a very boring TLT, and hopefully
Nothing crazy, really.
hopefully we made that TLT less boring for the listeners.
Nothing crazy, except you'd be crazy not to captain Nico Hines this weekend, averaging 96
Great point.
against the Dragons.
96.
That's
96.
ridiculous.
So,
It's ridiculous.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like in the hundreds in Supercoach, like 120 in Supercoach. So
Yeah,
you'd be
wow.
crazy not to. I think there's the last thing just on teams. Obviously not really relevant this week because they're on the bye, but Gutherson has undergone
Yes.
surgery, so out for 3 to 5 weeks, probably more likely going to be 4. And that could see popular cheapie from a couple of weeks ago, Blaze Tulagi, come in and play fullback for Parramatta. There's obviously Arcee that could come back because Sanders was pretty good, and then Moses is close to coming back, but if Tulagi that Brad Arthur has said that is the fullback of the future for the Eels. I think it's time, and he could be definitely one to hold this week if you've still got him, because he's going to probably get 3 to 4 weeks at fullback. Because I personally think he'll get the role over Arcee.
Yep.
So I guess that's just something to look out for next week.
We'll finish this podcast door with Bence's plug for the All Out hat.
100%.
Take it away, Bence.
Take it away, Bence.
Wow. I wish I was wearing that hat right now because my levels of Riz would just be going up. I'm sorry, that was really cringe. But the hat is actually very, very nice, and we appreciate all the sales. If you guys want to buy one, go ahead. Not that expensive. We appreciate all the support as always. It helps us out. And now that we're getting a new setup, we have negative earnings, so we'd appreciate any sales. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
And we'll
Quality
see you
hat.
next week.
See you next
See you
week.
next
Thank
week.
you.